Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, The Real Super Sam. Today is the start of a brand new series on my channel and I hope you enjoy. Man, this is a video I have looked forward to do for a while now. I just had to wait for the right moment. Whenever I watch this show, I watch hard. I imagine being with Batman and Robin every step of the way. I take it as comedy and as a serious drama. When I was growing up, believe it or not, in the early days of YouTube, every episode was uploaded by someone online, and I went through each half-hour episode to the next. It was just fun for little me, and I loved learning about superheroes at the time. Now, it was on once a week on MeTV until this month they canceled it, but don't worry, I'm still got the ability to review every episode and movie. I'm going to be going in chronological order uploading these too. The specific numbers will be in the description section, so I am starting off with the story, Hi Diddle Riddle, smack in the middle, the first story and first appearance of Riddler on the show. And just 2 days ago, it was Adam West's 90th birthday, September 19th, 2018, which is also Rosemary Harris's 91st birthday, but that's for another video. The first episode first aired January 12th, 1966. The show is very old, but luckily in color. The whole series, starts out as a normal TV show. If someone was just channel surfing, this could be anything. It stars a Moldavian exhibit, but then, surprise, a cake explodes and pops out a riddle. The cops can't handle this, so they all decide to call the world's greatest detective, Batman, to the scene. At Gotham City Police Headquarters, they figure out it was the Riddler who was behind it, and he left the riddle. I don't know who he is behind that mask of his, but I do know when we need him, and we need him now. We then see the faithful butler Alfred and the millionaire Bruce Wayne and his ward, Dick Grayson, as they get the call and hop into action as Batman and Robin. At police headquarters, that's when things get exciting, as they solve the Riddler's first riddle. Why is an orange like a bell? Answer, because they both must be peeled. The Peel Art Gallery. The Riddler must be planning to rob there. Batman and Robin go alone. It smells like a trap, Batman says. Riddler purposefully left the riddle to get Batman involved. Right before they go bust the Riddler, Riddler calls them, seemingly confirming his guilt. He asks them, there are 3 men in a boat with 4 cigarettes, but no matches. How do they manage to smoke? They see the Riddler hold up Mr. Peel at gunpoint and come crashing through the window. Then they chase and take down the Riddler, case closed, and no one got hurt. But wait, the press with cameras. The Riddler tricked them into fakingly arresting him under no circumstance. Now the Riddler is suing Batman and planning to commit more crimes with more riddles. Batman must stop him before time's up or must reveal his identity in court. How can I start this? I love this show. It's so nostalgic and fun for me. Definitely one of my favorite superhero shows ever. So this is the real start of Batman media outside the comics. Not all the titles rhyme. When they do, it's the best. One of the best things about this episode is that it's not an origin story. In fact, it looks like Batman has been around for a long, long time. This may be, to me, about 10 years into his career. They have tangled with Riddler tens of times before now. The closest we get to an origin is before we even see Batman or Riddler. When Bruce Wayne talks about his funding for an anti-crime center, he tells us that his parents were killed by criminals. The three main characters are Batman, Robin, and whoever the rogue of the week are. Let's start with Batman. One of the highlights of the 60s is his performance. As Bruce Wayne, he is everything you imagine Bruce Wayne to be, and even more going through the show. In real life, he became a real-life Bruce Wayne before George Clooney. It's not boring at any time when he's on screen, even when he's not Batman. I would say he is the best live-action Bruce Wayne ever. It may be my bias though, since Adam West was born and grew up in Walla Walla, and I've always lived an hour away. And yes, as Batman, that's the reason I love this show so much, because of West's performance of being super serious, like this is all really happening. That's how I view, or try to watch this show too, but sometimes it's too ridiculous not to laugh at. Like at the end, where the Riddler's hench girl falls to her death, and it's partly Batman's fault, it was all his machine that did it. He met her at the Way to Go Go bar, so when she dies, he says, "What a terrible way to go go," and he says it with all seriousness. This is definitely a comedy show. There's the infamous scene with Batman dancing, doing the Batusi. Yes, it was in the first ever episode. This is not a serious Batman, not even for that time. Everyone knew what they were doing, and to pull it off, they clearly had a lot of love and heart put into these performances. Next is Robin, played by Burt Ward, famous for his "Holies." He's always energetic and happy to be stopping crime with Batman. This is Dick Grayson Robin, the first one, the one who becomes Nightwing July 1984. The best moments with him is when he plays off the seriousness of Adam West as Batman. I really like these two together, and is definitely the best Dick Grayson Robin, or at least most well-known version of him ever. Of course, there's funny laugh-out-loud scenes with him too, like when Burt Ward acts really feminine for a scene, where it's supposed to be the Riddler's hench girl Molly dressed up as him. Let's get on to the point of this episode, the Riddler. What a great moment for comics when the Riddler was put on the show, giving him the popularity he deserves. Riddler was played by Frank Gorshin, an impressionist and comedian, and he definitely stands up with Batman for being memorable. What can I say new? I always treat Riddler and the villains on this show as a serious threat that could take over the city, which is how Batman views them too. The Riddler is mostly silly and jumps around everywhere giggling like a hyena. He's scary, smart, and even has henchmen. There's moments, which is all the time, where he gets happy and his plan is working, but then gets scary serious, almost like we could see him kill someone brutally at that moment. This happens when someone doubts his intelligence mostly, which makes sense for the Riddler. The Riddler's mind is twisted. Crime's no fun for him unless it means outwitting us. And that's clear. He has moments where he could kill Batman, like here. What if that was a real gun? Bruce would be dead. Riddler hadn't been in comics for 17 years. Then he was miraculously brought back for this issue, making a show, a comic show. The creator, who barely knew about comics, decided to pick up the first random comic he could, and lo and behold, it was Batman, and not just any issue, but the one which had the return of the Riddler. If that isn't Destiny calling for Enigma, I don't know what is. It came out May 1965. Actually, this comic is the Mohill Mob's only appearance, and Riddler helps Batman find their hideout to prove he's gone straight in the comic. You can see the show creator, William Dozer, took a lot from this issue, even Mr. Peel's name and cross. Why is a quarrel like a bargain? Because it takes two to make it. I love the Riddler on the show, one of the best versions of him. He deliberately leaves clues to confound us, clues that may or may not lead to the real crime he's planning. The Riddler contrives his plots like artichokes. You have to strip off spiny leaves to reach the heart. Those quotes describing the Riddler at the start of the story, before we even see him, perfectly describe why he's one of the greatest villains in comics. I'm sure the Riddler wouldn't even be known today if it wasn't for this show, and with him being in the first episode, the interesting complex he has of using riddles, and the riddles themselves are pretty silly, but they have good answers, but the conclusions Batman and Robin come up with are always insane. The costumes for this show are spot on the level of the CW suits today, maybe better. My favorite has to be this one in the very beginning, the first time we ever see a supervillain on the show. The one with the plain green and one giant question mark is so iconic, even today. It's what Lego Riddler used to wear. Riddler is with the Molehill gang. I didn't really know how molehills and riddles go together, but I view Riddler as a little bit old here. Even though he's jumping around, it's clear he knows Batman almost as well as he knows himself. Together, their hideout and plans go down in a secret area by the subways. Every main character stands out here and is remembered throughout the series. At the end, it looks like the Riddler was killed in a massive underground explosion. Batman says there was no body found, so probably not. It's crazy that Riddler almost killed himself. I think Enigma was so desperate this time. He and Batman have been doing this for years and years now. He wasn't going back, no matter what. This was probably their last time. Why not both go out with a bang is what he was probably thinking. Riddler isn't even wearing his classic costume here, and even an elephant mask, something different is up. He may be scared too. I also see this as Riddler's biggest plan yet, which is why it is a giant two-part, colorful episode. Heck, it probably was at the time. The interactions between him and the Boy Wonder are staples of the fun in this episode. If anything, Riddler sort of reminds me of Robin, because they're both full of energy. It's just that one's a rogue and one's an ally. One of the great interactions is at the end. I wonder what went awry. You went awry, Riddler, years ago. Don't you know crime never pays? Ha ha, ho ho ho. Hey hey hey. Then he was about to punch Robin in the face, but I swear if this was darker, he would have been about to kill Robin from all this rage he had since Robin just doubted him. Holy smoke! Yes, Robin in this series is famous for saying the holy somethings. There's Holy Ashtray, Holy Barracuda was his first one in the show. How many sides has a circle? Answer: 2. Inside and outside. And which president wore the biggest hat? The one with the biggest head. When it comes to the Riddler episodes, that's when Robin really shows off his worth. This show just didn't save the Riddler, but Alfred as well. At the time, Aunt Harriet was living with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, and not Alfred. Alfred died in the comics and was close to being forgotten until this show, which gave him newfound popularity, saving him from extinction, and why Aunt Harriet and Alfred are in the show instead of just Alfred. There's the part at the end where Riddler wears a suit and an elephant mask and pumps the room full of laughing gas and tells some jokes. Yeah, that is like Joker, but I don't hate it. There's a fight scene. This show is also well known for starring the words on the screen as a person gets hit. It only happens once at the end of the second episode, and I find it more impactful when the word takes up the whole screen. For a 1966 Batman villain, Riddler definitely was important and returned a lot more. One of my favorites. There's other great villains in the show. Some are made up like King Tut and Egghead, and some are only in one episode, like Bookworm, Falseface, and Clock King. The writing and acting was so good on the show that any of those villains I just named could have been liked more by somebody than the Riddler to them. Riddler's never named Edward Nygma here, making him more of a force of nature, a mystery, a total enigma. What would this show be without Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara? It's almost like they can't do anything meaningful without the help of Batman and Robin. It becomes obvious in a season 2 episode where there's a new rogue and Batman's out of town, and Gordon is shocked that he must do it himself. Chief O'Hara's my favorite. The first line he has in the show is, "What idiots we are! Now why couldn't we work that out?" He said a mouthful. They even have the bat signal in the show's first episode, but, in a funny turn of events, Batman gets drugged with the orange juice he ordered at the bar and can't drive. One thing I find missing is the detailed criminal-themed hideouts. The looks of them were very interesting, but here there's none. This isn't to say that there's some parts of the episode I wouldn't have changed. Looking back, like the cliffhanger, it's Robin being captured by Riddler, no death traps in sight. It's not as exciting as in, heck, just the next episode. Is this one of, if not the best Batman 1966 episode ever? No, not even close, but I can see it being that way for some. One is there's only one fight scene, there's not a lot of bat humor, and the villain hideout didn't look as wacky as some others, but it was still a perfect 10 out of 10 episode. There's a lot of those in the series. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for reaching 300 subscribers for this channel with me. Hopefully, we'll hit 1K. Bye guys, and have a good day.